You know, history doesn't always live just in the textbooks and in museums. Sometimes it waits, half forgotten, by a riverbank, buried beneath a mound, or etched into the stone of an unmarked grave. I'm Tim Potter, an anthropology student and independent researcher from rural Iowa. This is Lost and Found History, a project dedicated to uncovering and preserving the stories time tried to erase. And here is where our journey begins, the Skillet Creek Indian Mounds. Now, this location, not much is known about it. All that we really know is there's 5 conical mounds and 1 linear mound. And that's about it. We know that they were built somewhere between 1500 to 2000 years ago. And we know that they were built by the woodland culture. And this location is what initially piqued my interest in researching the woodland culture. I was looking at GPS maps one day and I saw Indian mounds. I was like, what? So I came out here and lo and behold, there are Indian mounds out here. Now, it was my intention to get out and start doing field research and start studying these areas and start learning more about the woodland culture's actual culture, what their day-to-day was like, and learn more about them. I unfortunately had a severe fall a little over a month ago and I broke my hip, I broke my arm, and I broke my wrist. This terrain is very thick, it is very steep, and trying to hobble through it with these would be a one-way ticket back to the hospital, and I have spent enough time at the hospital for a lifetime over the last month. So unfortunately, this location gets put on hold. But yesterday I was wandering around and I found another location, and it's a location that I'm able to access. It's a location that has tremendous historical stories and even has a dark side to it and some historical inaccuracies. So let's head on over to that place. We'll talk a little more. And here we are, Vegors Cemetery. Now from the surface, looks like a regular old cemetery, but there is one very concerning fact about this cemetery. This cemetery was put on top of Indian burial mounds. So behind me, there are 5 conical mounds. Now, when they placed this cemetery here, I don't know if they knew that there were burial mounds or whether they just didn't care. But either way, it has created many legends and stories that this cemetery is haunted or cursed because of that fact. And there are a lot of Euro-American settlers' graves out here, which is always just extremely interesting to see because they are the first people from Europe that settled here. They're the ones that started the civilization that we know today. There are multiple inaccuracies with one of the monuments out here that's dedicated to the first woman settler in Webster County, Iowa. There are several historical inaccuracies. One, it says that she was killed due to exposure of Indian raid. That's inaccurate. She did get raided by the Indians, but she died there shortly after. Her death date is inaccurate as well. They got her husband's name wrong. So overall, the memorial is inaccurate, but the skeleton's there. She was raided by the Indians. She did die shortly after, and then her husband found a very creative way, in a very diabolical way, of seeking revenge. And this is a story that leads up to northern Iowa and even ties into the Spirit Lake Massacre. Here, sometime in the near future, over the next couple months, I'm going to be working on a short documentary about this place, and I'm going to tell you everything there is to know about Vegors Cemetery, the burial mounds, and what the story truly is. And that right there is the mission of Lost and Found. Finding stories like these, stories that people don't know about, but are foundational stories. And with this one, it currently ties into, I'm researching the mounds, the woodland culture, and trying to figure out what their life was like. And I feel that this is a very good place to start. Considering I can't get out and research the Skillet Creek mounds, this is the next best thing. There's 5 mounds right here. And I can study the graves, I can study the mounds, and I can study the surrounding area to try to piece together something. It's exciting, it's mysterious, sometimes nerve-wracking, but this is a path that I am so excited to go on because I feel that this path holds true answers. So stick with me while I heal, and I promise you there's gonna be some amazing stories you're gonna learn about and some amazing locations that you don't even know exist. And I am so excited to share those locations and the stories with you. It lights a fire in my chest. It just makes me feel a way that words will not describe. So I hope you're as excited as I am, and stay tuned for some really crazy stories.